Are you already owning a house for a few years, and you are now, let's say, have so much other debt, right? And then short-term debt that you have that you actually do not know how to actually pay back that money to get rid of it, to improve your financial situation right now. So in this channel, as you know, we talk all things real estate, all things personal finance, so that you are the driver but not the passenger of your financial situation. So let's get to it, shall we? So the past 2 weeks I've been talking about the issue of refinancing. So I want to explain how refinancing actually works, right? So the first thing is, what actually is refinancing? So when you actually refinance, you can't talk about just refinancing without talking about equity, but I'll get to that. So refinancing is when you actually, on an existing bond, maybe you've been paying that bond for several years, right? Remember, when you pay your bond for whatever time, you build some sort of equity. And I've made so many videos when it comes to what actually equity is. So what happens is that you take a second line of credit, right? So when you take the second line of credit, means that you take it on the home's current value, because over time the properties in South Africa, over time, most of them probably they will appreciate, right? So we assume that they're gonna appreciate. So which means that, let's say you have bought a property, it was 500,000. 5 years down the line, that property it's worth now 650,000, right? So you will have an equity of appreciation of 150,000 plus equity of repayment, which actually you have paid back to the bank, maybe another 150,000, or let's say 200,000, right? So which means that the total equity you will have will be around 250 or 300,000. So now when you do what we call refinancing, it is just an effective way to access the cash or the equity, which is the portion or a percentage of the amount that belongs to you in that property. So when you refinance, you take out that money. I hope this actually makes sense. So why do you really need to do a refinance, right? In most cases, like there's a video that I've done, also I'll put a description below, which just defines or makes you understand what is the cheapest kind of debt, right? So in that video I break down to you that, say for example, if you are comparing the most expensive kind of debt to the cheapest kind of debt, right? You will have credit card, which on average you will have more than 22% of interest, right? And then if you talk about a personal loan, you will have, let's say, around 17-15%. And then if you're talking about a car, you will get around, let's say, 13%, 10 if you're lucky, and then 8%. Not 8%. That is really rare to get, right? But if you're talking about a house, right? Right now the prime lending rate is sitting at 9%. Mostly you can get 9% minus 1 or 9% plus 1, right? Which makes it the cheapest kind of debt that you can actually get. So what does that mean? You must use that to your advantage, right? If you really want to save. So all the other short-term kind of debts like clothing account, they'll give you, let's say 22% or more, right? And credit card maybe even goes up to 25%. That's why it's so hard to pay it back. But refinancing gives you this option that when you have all this short-term kind of debt, you can actually refinance, get that cash back, pay off completely those short-term debts, and be left only with a home loan, right? Because it is the lowest in terms of the interest rate that you can get. So it is gonna be a huge saving for you, and it will make so much space, because the amount that you'll be paying, like the installment, will be reduced. And the good thing is that when you do a refinance, the interest rate that you got, let's say before when you bought the property, might even be reduced, which is a plus for you. So this is one of the things of the importance of doing a refinance. You can actually do a proper debt consolidation. So that is the first reason, right? And the second reason might be that you are looking to renovate your house and you need a huge amount of cash. You can also use refinance, or in any other way where you need a huge sum of money. But also, this is the nice part. If you are sort of a person who's more of a property investor, so what you can do is you can refinance and now take that refinance, buy another cheaper property, or maybe put a deposit on that property. Then you start building your property profile, right? So that is the importance of doing a refinance. This is why I always emphasize that, you know what, it doesn't matter what kind of a property you buy, if you are thinking really long term, and if you are thinking of accumulating wealth in a very long term. Because the thing is, you build equity through you build wealth through equity, and it is very, very much important for you to understand, right? But also, I just want to bring up that there is costs that are associated with refinancing, right? So remember, when you bought the property originally, you bought it, and then there was a bond registration cost and there was transfer cost, right? In this case, the property belongs to you though, so there's no need for change of ownership, which means that still you do not have to do the transfer cost. But because you are registering a second line of credit, which is a new bond, you will need to pay the bond registration cost, right? So, and also some levy to the deeds office and all that, but it's not going to be really that much. It is worth your while. I hope this video has added value to you. If it has had added value to you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, also share with your family and friends, because they might need this information as well. Don't just keep it to yourself, right? We all need to improve our life. We all need to improve our situation for our families and for our friends, right? I will see you on the next one. Cheers.